I can go back to look. And the emails I sent you, it should have it in there.
All right, let's get started. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. David, would you go first?
Sure. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking you to watch over this meeting of our commissioners, help them to make decisions that are according to your will and good for our county. We ask you to please watch over all of our employees as they go about their duties throughout this week. In Jesus' name, amen.
I've reviewed the minutes, make a motion that we pass.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye. David?
I've got two claims runs. This is the regular claims run for the week. Total on that one is $1,158,274.55. It's two items that really brought that one up. The big asphalt project is in there, and then it was time for our interest payment on our bonds. So between those two, that's about $1 million of it.
He said asphalt.
Yeah, that's the.
Concrete?
No.
Asphalt.
Oh, the road, the curve? Okay, gotcha, I got you. All right.
I'll make a motion, we pay the claims in that amount.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded, and we pay the claims in the amount stated. All in favor? Aye.
And then the little one that I have is the longevity pay that we'll hand out at the dinner next week. And that one is $24,756.14.
Make a motion, we pay that.
What was the price?
What was it?
$24,756.14.
Second. Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye.
I do have the sheriff's report if you want to take a look at that.
Bill?
Matlock, River City Construction with the weekly update. Progress is doing well. Last week was a short week, of course, but the weather looks good. We're about to complete the ephes on the exterior. I'll be real close by the end of this week. That will only leave the stone on the exterior to complete. All the windows frames are in or will be in after today. Glass is due in any day this, as of now. I was actually supposed to ship Thanksgiving Day, but obviously that will delay it a little bit, but we expect it today, tomorrow. We'll start putting glass in. By the end of the week, I'm hopeful to have the building tipped in completely or permanent glass in. We've got the heaters for temporary heat at each end, which I'd like to make a point on those heaters. I did call the city. If you guys get any calls, especially after dark, you're going to be able to see a flame in those heaters. We get these calls on every job. They think they're on fire. They're not. That's common to see that flame in that heater from the exterior. So, but there's one at each end of the building. There's one on the east end, one on the west end. We're starting the curb and gutter this week. Once the curb and gutter on the north and the west is done, we'll start the paving right behind it. Interior is progressing well. Right now, I'm kind of waiting on the inspection for the fire marshal. We've applied for that, state fire marshal, for a 50% inspection. I haven't received a response. I'm not quite sure when he's going to be here, but it's getting kind of the point where I need him, but we're pressuring for that. Painting's starting on the inside once the heat turns on. Drywall's progressing well. Basically, all your petitions are just about one-sided and topped out. So once I get the inspection, everything will close up interior-wise as far as drywall pretty quickly. Mechanical, electrical's all progressing well. So Other than that, that's about it. Sorry about that, guys.
You got any-
Is there any kind of hold up on the supplies or anything else coming along that you know?
We haven't got any major holdup at this point. The electrician, I think, is suffering from cost increases, but I don't think there's any unavailability. I think they held out hoping that, it would peak and start coming back down on copper, but so far that hasn't happened. But yeah, I'm not aware. Luckily we planned well, especially with the roofing.
Sounds like it.
The insulation material was very critical. Had we not done that and paid for material in advance, to get it in advance, that we would be still waiting on roofing material. So, but
Danny, you got anything?
No, it looks like, I mean, I've been involved in projects kind of like that, and from an outsider looking in, it looks like you guys are doing great, and looks like you guys managed really well and on schedule and stuff. So I've been on something where it's, we're doing masonry whenever 0 degrees out, so it looks like you guys are doing great.
yeah, Mason on our job, he's finishing up a few interior petitions that we had left out on purpose, but they're non-load bearing. But hopefully he'll finish those this week, and then really all he'll have left is the stone, and we'll start that stone. But
It's doing great.
it's on site, so
All right, Bill.
we'll
Thank you.
start cleaning up this lot, getting material out once the mason leaves, and preparing to start taking sections out. We did receive the change on the request that the annex is going to stay. We've asked the architect and the civil to give us a redesign on parking layout, things like that, with the extension, however you guys want to add whatever was here to the west.
Okay. Appreciate it.
That's in the works, so. All right.
Another good week.
All right, you
All
guys
right,
too.
thank you.
Thank you.
AMR.
Good morning. Galen Anderson with AMR. Numbers wise, at this point in the month, we're at 53 total transports. And in the past 7 days, we've done 15. So that's kind of where we're at trend wise.
Is that good? I mean, up or down or average or what?
It's pretty average. Yeah, kind of right in the middle. We moved out of the common living quarters in Station 1 last week for the carpet that's going in there today and tomorrow. So that's going to be really nice. We appreciate that. That'll be done. Sounds like that'll be done Tuesday. So then we'll be moving back in, and the crew, that'll be nice. So thanks for doing that at Station 1 with the new carpet. That's going into the main living room and the bedrooms. So the kitchen's already tiled. So, and then talking with Sean, sounds like everything's coming along well for the new Station 2 in Lacine. So the crews are looking forward to that. We're still on track with the December 15th move date to move from the house over to that new location. So sounds like everything's going pretty smooth with that. So we appreciate these station improvements. And I think that's all I got.
You going up there this week, speaking?
I think I'll join remotely.
Okay.
Yeah. I talked to Jim Reed last 2 weeks ago, and he was doing our ambulance inspections, and sounds like remote is still kind of what they're encouraging folks to attend.
You got anything, Jim?
No, I don't have anything. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Have a good week.
Melissa?
Missy Lancaster from the Health Department. I don't have a whole lot. You wanted numbers on those COFIED results on that
Go ahead.
machine? And we've done 533 so far this year, and we had ordered 1,500. So we still have about 1,000 left on if we want to do, we need to decide if we want to do that warranty or not. So, and it was $49.99.
If, any diagnostics you guys do on that, does the doctors prescribe off of your, like if it's flu or
RSV, do they have to go on to the doctor to get prescription?
Yes, anytime. Well, I don't know if what they do. Our recommendation is that you go see your primary provider if you test positive for anything. And then, that's up to them on what they want to do.
Danny?
I don't have anything.
So you need a decision on that.
Maintenance is $49.99 for a year for a 1-year contract. If one of the cassettes go bad, like I said, it's $99.99 for one.
Could we continue using the machine without the maintenance contract, or?
Yes, but it's recommended it's serviced yearly. So
I would think you'd do a is there you know anything about it, Doug?
we do a quality.
Calibrate or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when they
Yeah.
like when they set it up, they calibrated to make sure everything was working. We do quality.
I just
control
use that
checks.
word. I have no idea if that's what it is.
We do quality controls. We just got some in, and we do them monthly or when there's a change in the lot number. But like I said, it says on there, do you want to do maintenance? And we've just been hitting no.
If we don't do it, does it,
It doesn't shut off or anything.
It doesn't shut off, but I would.
is our test still good? I guess is what I'm asking.
Well, that's the question. You don't know, right?
So
It's
otherwise,
not.
you got a $30,000 machine that you hope it still works.
Well, that to me is a large maintenance agreement. If we was to buy a $30,000 car, who would give $5,000 a year?
But it's medical too, though.
Right.
You got to think about
I
that.
know what it is.
And you need. Yeah.
It is. No, it is.
It is. I agree. But you also want to make sure that your machine that's testing the public is working correctly.
I had a question.
You're getting accurate results.
We had a maintenance agreement for this first year, right?
Yes, you did.
And so the maintenance that's due now should be covered under that agreement.
I'm sorry, what?
Until it expires.
It expired November 24th.
Right, and I'm saying the maintenance that you need now, you said, keep saying, do we want maintenance? That should be done under the current agreement rather than a new one.
No, they're saying it's under the new one,
Well, when did we buy this machine? When did the maintenance?
November 24th.
Okay, and so I would be willing to argue with them that
I can.
if we had a 1-year agreement, that agreement's good till the 24th of November.
Which is passed.
Is it November or December?
November.
Okay, never mind.
Good try, Gary. Thank you.
I say I can call and argue with them, but
No,
since
well,
we're past the 24th.
But if there was maintenance that needed to be done before last week, we should have had it done under that agreement rather than under a new agreement. That's
Yes.
Another thing I'd like to know is if we do the RSD and the flu, do they get charged again to go somewhere else for a prescription? So I mean,
Do they get a readout or anything?
Yes, they get a printout of
They get a
everything
printout
that we
to take
tested
with
for. They
Okay.
do, yeah. But we're not charging them for the tests.
Right.
So,
The big benefit on these tests is not so much when it shows positive, in my opinion, but when it shows negative. Because people want a negative.
yes, and a lot of employers require that piece of paper to show that they're negative, so they can go back to work.
And can't guarantee it, then it's kind of pointless to have it because people will argue with us and say, everybody knows now it's on camera that we can make it. It's pointless to have it. No.
And it is the only one of that machine that's in the county. I think you'd asked me that last time.
And a lot of people that would come to you, I would say, that got the test can't afford to go somewhere else anyway. So it's not like you can tell them to go to their primary care caregiver and they can say, well, right now you're it.
Or they may not be very sick. They just have like the sniffles and they test positive. We always make the recommendation to follow up with your provider, but they can, they can do whatever they want to.
We have 4 counties around us that did not buy the machine either.
Right.
So, and I just wonder what they did. I never asked that question. I wonder where they.
We have had some from other counties that come to us
Do we?
because we have the machine. And they can have their results in an hour.
So 533 tests, is there a way that we can advertise a little better and try to get?
Sure. Sure. We can put something in and
I just hate to see have a machine there that may or may not, we did spend the money. The fact is, we did spend the money, and to use it one more year with the maintenance agreement, for
And
final decisions made.
right,
What happened before we had the machine for flu test and rest?
I wasn't,
I mean,
Doug?
no, but I mean, was there a test? Was there anything?
we had the Binax, are you talking about for flu or for
Yeah, for
COVID?
flu and what's the
RSV.
RSV? What happened when? Yeah,
If somebody came to you for those, I mean, to the.
I don't know.
in other places though, Melissa, what would happen if they went to a doctor's office? Do they
We had, at the doctor's office I came from, we had testing, just quick tests, like a quick strep, quick RSV, stuff like that. They were cards.
Is that what the school uses for
The school
for the
uses
rapid test? For
the Binax Now cards.
So it's a benefit to the school districts right now to have that?
Our machine?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, because they are recommending if they're positive, then they come and get a different,
If they're off the quick test, then they go to you to verify.
yeah.
And
Plus just lay public, anybody who needs to be tested.
And
this fee's gonna be paid by grant money?
It is, yes, it is paid for by grant money. Yes, the maintenance agreement is.
You have about $60,000 worth of test kits in that, just sort of 1,000 test kits that we have left is about $60,000 worth of test kits in addition to the value of the instrument.
so at that point, when you add that and you add the benefit for the school and the benefit that we already bought it, I think it's beneficial for the county for another year of a maintenance agreement.
If we do this, I recommend we don't buy a bunch of thousand more.
No.
No, well, they're already paid for.
When we get down to close to where you're
Right.
critical, then let's all talk about
Yes,
what we do.
yes, but those were already paid for, 100% paid for.
Right, I mean, just because we get down to 500.
Yes.
Or 3,000 more.
1,000 more.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so I'm going to make a motion that we go ahead and enter another additional year in the maintenance contract with, what is it called?
Cofied.
Cofied
It's,
for the RSV, flu, and COVID test machine.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye.
thank you very much. Now, on the other hand, I have good news that I didn't bring to share. Earlier, and I should have. We got 2 new contracts that run through 2024, non-renewable, but they do significant amount. The first one is the IAP Supplemental 3 grant that we got, which is $63,000, and that goes through 2024.
What's it do for us?
Outreach, supplies, testing, all sorts, getting out into the community.
Okay.
Then the other one is also AAP Supplemental 4 grant. It's a Supplemental 4, not 3, and it is $110,000.
What's it do?
It's kind of same stuff.
So what will you do with it?
Well,
You
I
have a
haven't
plan?
decided yet. I just signed it like 2 weeks ago, so
Okay.
gotta get yeah. I mean, there is a plan written that was started before but I just got the approval. So I'm gonna have to go through and read the plans
Okay.
and see what we got going.
I would like to sit down sometime and let's all go through. and
Yeah,
talk
why don't we have a little workshop about something like
about
that?
something like that to where we could all get on the same page.
Sure, come on over, we'll set up.
No, how you come on over here after your meeting sometime and we'll set her up. We'll get you.
Come to my house. Also, Amanda had written a little grant on safe sleep, and I think you all got a copy of that. And doing cribs and smoke detectors and stuff like that, and she was awarded that, so she'll be working on that. And it was, I believe, $4,000. Yes, it was $4,000, and I think she sent you all an email that told you to word it out. Okay, so there's those. I have one more thing. I can't find a dress code policy at the health department, and I have written one with some assistance, and I just need your guys' approval to.
It's got you wanting to put in the handbook?
For the,
Where's that go, David?
Well, I think it could be incorporated in there next time we update, but you could do a policy at any time.
Do a policy and then
Go in our policy
incorporate
book and then it could go in the handbook.
next year?
Yeah.
Okay, so let Gary look it over
okay,
and then we'll approve it or ask for changes next week,
sure.
unless you need it this week. Everybody's wearing clothes and everything, I assume.
Yes.
Just a little background on that, or the language in the handbook now does talk about department heads being able to set dress codes for their departments. So I think we're covered that it could be done.
Without our approval? Is that what you?
Well, I don't really think it's.
It doesn't explicitly require board approval, but of course, if somebody had a grievance, they could come to the board.
Right.
Yeah, so if we just put in the policy, we could eliminate all that, right?
I think so.
So if you let him look at it and make sure everything grammar and everything's right,
Okay.
and we'll be set.
I also sent her a copy of the initial proposal regarding a advisory board, and I anticipate getting some more feedback on that maybe from you when you have time.
Okay.
Did I know you worked at some other health departments years ago. Did they have an advisory board? Do you remember?
Bates County had a board. They were not governed by commissioners. They had a board that ran theirs.
Okay.
And at Bates County in Butler, Missouri. Oklahoma, no, it was ran all by the state.
Okay.
It was a state.
This board would not be the Board of Health. They will continue to be the Board of Health.
Right,
This would just be an advisory board.
right, which I think would be,
A good idea.
yeah, I think it'd be great. Yeah.
Jim came up with it, so. I'm going to give you a good idea today.
And then I have one thing
Down there.
for executive session. I think,
Legal or personnel or?
legal,
For how long?
10 minutes, maybe.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Mr. Harding, you want to talk?
I just want to request another 10-minute executive session for non-elected person when you get time. That's all. Thank you.
Have you got a little bit? You got a little time?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't have anything this morning, so you can take your time. You need to get to it immediately.
All right. Doug, come on.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Doug Bartlett, Fire and Emergency Management. I also have Russell Beth with me this morning. Russell is the Vice Chair of the Rural Fire Board and the Fire Captain at Station 970 in Blue Mound. Weekly calls were at 401 year to date, 11 calls this past week, 1 EMS assist, 1 landing zone, 5 grass fires, 2 motor vehicle accidents, a natural gas leak, and 2 fire alarms. Last week, you asked me to come back this week and tell you whether or not we absolutely need the fireworks software that we have asked to purchase. Again, I mentioned last week that the board unanimously recommended the purchase of this new product. It's a web-based product. I've talked to Chris Martin. He has no objections to using it. He's looked at it for us. I'm going to go through this document I handed out, and then I think Russell wants to make a few comments. If you look at the very first page, you just see a list. That's what we're going to see when we pull the software up. If we click on the address, it's going to go to the picture on page 2. If we click on the incident number, it goes to the reporting area. So once that information goes into the CAD software at the sheriff's office, it's going to click this up. When our firemen come on, they click a button. It's going to give them information. Again, if they use their smartphone as an example, they could access the map that's on the top of page 2, showing the general location that we're going to. This map happens to be in an area of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, because the demo product they gave me was from that area. But it gives us a response map. It shows us information. If we've done pre-planning, they can click on that and it'll go to a pre-plan. For example, the Beechner grain. It could tell us which buildings hazardous chemicals are in. It could tell us what the hazardous chemicals they're storing
You
are.
already have all that information?
Not currently.
Okay.
But this
so like
but this
power,
program,
that program will help do.
will allow us to do those kind of
So like-
pre-plans and get that information to our fire
So
service.
like special places like the power plant, for example, you would. get
As long as they would participate, and
If
I
they would.
imagine they probably would, but any business, any homeowner who wanted to participate, we could work to set up pre-plans.
Participate though. It isn't a government requirement.
If you want it pre-planned.
Provide us that information, which most, whether it be a large farmer that has anhydrous or other chemicals, I've talked to several of them around Blue Mountain. They're perfectly fine with us gathering that information. They will provide it to us.
Have we ever done this before?
No,
Okay.
We haven't had the capability.
So you have to go get it, is what I'm saying.
yes, we have to go get it. We're not gonna make them give it to us, but if they're willing to give it to us, we will go collect it.
Which
get
makes
it
a lot
into
of
the
sense for
information.
like Beechners and those places.
A lot of places, yes.
Makes our response safer.
Yeah.
We know if this building's on fire and there's chemicals in the stage back farther.
Right.
Whatever the situation is, it allows us to have that in place before we go there.
It would show fire hydrants. You can see some little bitty red dots on there. They're not overly descriptive, but it shows locations of fire hydrants, so we could see where the closest fire hydrant is, whether it's city or county. If you look at page 3, that's actually clicking on the number that we saw on page 1, takes us to this page. This is where we start filling out the information for the incident report that's required by the federal government. The areas that are highlighted in red are things we have to answer. Those are required elements. You can see in one case, there's just a little drop-down menu, and you see the arrows for those drop-down menus on this page. Very simplistic layout.
You say feds, is it federal and state or just state?
We send it to the state sends it to the federal government, INFRS, National Fire Incident Reporting System. That's where it's required to go to.
Who fills these out, Doug? Is the captains?
The firefighter that has taken command of the incident is going to go back and fill it out.
Have you written a policy on it? Or you write a policy on when it's got to be done or
It's got
something?
to be done on every call. We could create a policy for it in our standard operating guidelines,
Or whatever
but
you do.
yes, it's done on every call.
So
That's how they get paid.
do you have to train each firefighter to use the system?
Yes, they've been trained. Some are not very computer savvy. They tend to let the people that are more computer savvy at the station fill those reports out. It's something we've been doing for almost 10 years, 9 years now
Okay.
in this current format. If you look at the top of page 4, that shows you the software we're currently using. And if you compare it to the previous page, you can see how much more simplified the newer software is than what this is. In that newer software, you can advance by tabs, but literally if you just keep scrolling down, the whole report is on one page and it just scrolls up or down. You can jump to sections by hitting the tab buttons on that. This one you have to hit tabs and you have to open other tabs. It's considerably more convoluted. In addition to just doing the report, we talked about the pre-planning that we can do. Department inventories, maintenance. If you go to the top of page 5, it shows you the different vehicles. We select one of those vehicles, and then at the bottom of page 5, you can kind of see a list of equipment that started there, and you can see plus or minus 1 in green under quantity. If they're doing an inventory of their vehicle, which we require an annual inventory of some equipment, every 2 years they have to do a full inventory. We do have a policy on our inventory. They could go in there and click. We have 0, we have 2, and then there's notes that they could put in there. Once this report's completed, it can be auto sent to my office, to the captain, whomever we program in there. It will automatically send reports, whether it's a monthly report, an annual report, or any other interim that we can set. We have the ability to do that. The inventory can be by truck, then by compartment. So if it's the front door on the driver's side, we can tell it this is the compartment we're inventorying and list what's in there. If we have a toolbox in there, we can put a toolbox and then we can go in with this staged inventory. We can describe what's in the toolbox as detailed as we need or not. We don't necessarily need to know that we have 3 sockets and the size of the sockets, but maybe we have a toolbox with sockets. We could have in the upper tray of the toolbox, here's what you find. In the bottom of the toolbox, here's what you find. So again, we can split it out into 3 or 4 levels of inventory to get detail. Hydrant information can all be put in there. One of the things that ISO looks at is our hydrants, our hydrant maintenance and so forth. So that can all be put in there. And then when ISO comes for the 5-year reviews to try to keep our ISO rating of 5, we can just print them out. Here's when the hydrants were maintenance over the past 5
current
years.
program, let me ask you, the current program that you're using now, did it talk about, was the hydrants on that one?
Hydrants is one of the things
the
that
one
we
that's
have
the one.
access to, yes.
Okay.
Do we have a detailed list of the inventory we have in the warehouse as far as how many pair of gloves and everything we've got on inventory?
Not currently.
We don't keep one of the inventory we have, it's the extra is what I'm asking.
No.
I'd like to see that to where we knew exactly what we have on.
I thought you had we inventory annually, right?
Right, but we haven't gone in and counted our gloves.
Okay.
When we start running out of the gloves, physically see that we're running out of gloves as we're issuing them, then we
Right, I don't, yeah.
inventory.
You had 150 pairs of gloves. You don't, every time you take one out, you don't change the inventory sheet.
No,
Doug, what about the,
not that we can't do that, but we haven't in the past.
what about these fire extinguishers behind you? I know that Centos kind of has the agreement on that. Is that something that we can stop paying them? And have,
We have for several years been looking for a class. Russell's even volunteered to go to the class. He's been looking for a class. We've been looking for a class to get our folks trained, because if we had somebody trained in doing fire maintenance on our fire
Manual extinguisher.
extinguishers.
You mean as far as weighing them and everything like they do?
Yeah, there's a process that you go through on
does
those.
Centos really come and do what they're supposed to? I mean, do they come and check it and
Oh, I'm sure they do.
they come look?
But we can take that off the wall and look at the gauges that's still in the green. And if it's a dry powder, which I assume that probably is, if we roll it up and down, can we kind of feel the powder going up and down? Or when we turn it upside down, does it just go thump like it's all in a hard chunk? There's not a significant amount of things that go in there.
We would save a lot of money on it?
We'd save a lot of money, yes.
Okay.
That's something that, you know,
We just haven't been able to find a class, and we've been looking for several years and have not come up with a class that we can send them to, because I got people willing to go. And as long as, if Russell is certified as an example, I can go and I can help Russell do it because I'm doing it underneath the certified person. So we wouldn't have to get everybody on the department certified. We talked several years ago about when we were looking at trying to do this, maybe we could offer that to the public and charge them a nominal fee to go out and do it for the public. Because once you get certified, you have to check, and I don't remember what the number is, but you have to check so many extinguishers a year to maintain that
list go
certification.
to every year that it's been done? I mean, that we do it, did you send that in somewhere?
I'm not aware of that because
We
we
have a
don't do it.
contract with these guys, right?
But what I'm getting at is why do we say we do it every year then?
I
mean,
expected they submitted to the fire marshal or to our insurance company or both. I don't know that.
I think does the insurance require that we have extinguishers?
Oh, I'm sure that we
Yeah,
have.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the two, because it's public.
Public building, the state fire marshal's rules and
Yeah.
regulations are going
Yeah.
to require it.
I don't know that they get a copy of the report on it, but I know that Centos does check them, and they've given us deficiencies on things that they found before.
and don't you think that'd be beneficial? I mean, you have your little red dots for fire hydrants here on this map. Wouldn't it be beneficial to have something like knowing your firefighters knowing there's an extinguisher right side of the door if on a business or something? I mean, could we put that into this?
I think that data is able to be put into this program. They did not specifically talk about extinguishers in the webinar that Doug and I sat through. But there's a vast amount of information you can put in your pre-planning. I'm certain that we could put that information into this.
What I'm wondering if we go to the state and that's where it says that it has to be done, they can surely tell us someone will turn around.
As a government agency, you're required under 29 CFR 1910, and I can't take you any farther into that
Right.
document than that, but you're required annually to have a facility fire extinguisher inspection. I've fallen in the same requirement as federal facility.
We did it at Phillips all the time, but our people did it ourselves.
Right, but,
That's something I'd really
We
like
did
to
it all
see.
the time.
I know that sent us,
Signed off on them monthly.
I think we could save a lot of money. I think it'd be very beneficial to us. And I know you said you've been trying hard.
I chased that rabbit down the hole a couple of times. I found one school, I believe it's in
We
Michigan,
probably
it
could get
takes
it right now.
3 days
We probably could get it
there, and then you come back and you have to
Just sign it.
solicit for a test.
We did.
So you just be having contact person that would then certify your guys.
We signed off on it once a month. Just check it to verify
There's
it.
no training, the trainer,
Have you listened to it from Sue?
what I've read on it, the individual that goes to that training, it's, last time I looked, it's been 3 or 4 years ago, but it was around $2,000 for a 3-day training. And like I said, then you come back and then you have to go to the, separate entity that's, and I don't remember the name of it. I have to go back and do some more research on it and get back with you guys on it, to be quite honest, but you solicit for a test site, you go in, they proctor the test. About a week later, they either tell you whether you passed or failed. And I mean, this is simply dry chemical fire extinguishers. You can go to another class that is, like your kitchen extinguishment system, ventilation system. There's multiple classes involved in this deal, depending on how far you want to expand it. If you just want to stay with dry chemical, it used to be about a 3-day class, but like I said, 3 or 4 years ago, it was about $2,000 plus travel and all that.
That's something I'd definitely be in favor of us trying to, man, if we can, try to get that under us. So.
Hey Doug, so you need a program. You're losing a program. What else you got real quick?
Page 7, you can see the different colors of fire extinguishers. So if we color coded them on a map, we would be able to quickly tell which ones put out more water. If you had one that puts out 400 gallons a minute and one that puts out 1,500 gallons a minute, it may be, even though it's a half a mile farther away, it may be better to go to that because we can fill the trucks quicker and get back. It saves us several minutes in our cycle time. So it just gives them information to quickly look at to determine what we're doing. I'll skip through most of it. You ask about the free program. Based on everything that I've been able to come up with, it works good for very small departments that have a few calls per year, and they're there by themselves because once we submit the report, it's off, it's gone, it's done. Whereas in our department where we have 7 stations separated by many miles, our firemen have to go in and each station has to fill out their portion of the information. And this free software is not really set up to do that kind of work with. And then if you go to the last page, we've been using this firehouse software since 2003. We've got probably between 7,000 and 10,000 fire reports in the database of this software over that 19-year period. If we go to the free software and start doing reports in our office, et cetera, we're going to lose all that data unless we figure out a way to download it, back it up, keep it in hard copy, download it, print it, scan it, and get it into a computer copy. Whereas if we transition to this new software, it just automatically gets ported over in the transition process and we don't lose any of that data. Back when we were doing it with the firehouse software before our firefighters started doing the reports, we paid a person 20 to 30 hours a week to do that work for us. We would have to hire somebody to come in and do it, so we're not really going to save any significant amount of money, or it may cost us more depending on how many hours a week they would have to work. Back a couple of years or so ago, we had 167 fire reports in 1 month. Having 5 a week or 10 a week maybe is not as much of a problem, but when you get to 40, 50 a week, there's no way we can pick up that added workload. Just the new functionality. This software has a work order program. The fire board for several years has wanted us to get a work order system. At one point, we had Chris Martin looking into trying to come up with a work order system that we could utilize. It's contained within this software, so that could help us. If Russell has a breakdown on a truck, he can fill it out. It's going to send us a message if it's set up that way, and I assume that's the way we would set it up, where we get an automatic message. He's out of supplies. He's out of foam. This truck has an issue. Here's what the issue is. Then when we get it fixed, we can put the cost for repairs and the cost for parts in there and have an electronic tracking of all that information. It may also work out to where gloves, things like that, when we purchase them, if we do some kind of a work order inventory of that, that could be utilized in there as well. we're going from a 20-year-old software that has limitations to a newer software that not only does everything we currently do, but it does a bunch of other things that we don't currently have access or capabilities of doing for about $500 a month less than what we're paying right now, minus any startup fees that we would have. There's the $1,990 in startup fees that we talked about. 990 is in training. The other 1,000 is getting all of our data, our files, all ported over into the new system.
What's the total?
6695 plus 1990, if I remember correctly, on a 1 year or a one-time fee.
One-time fee.
So 6695. Currently, we're paying 72.20 and 40 cents.
Okay. And Doug, you got a pretty sincere intent about going through and getting this pre-data done on like
Yes.
Beechner. I'm just mentioning Beechner's because it's got all the.
Well, that's the one I brought up as an example.
Yeah.
There are several
But
around.
There
yes.
are. I mean, is there a good intent in going around and getting this done?
Yes.
Early?
And not only can we do it, if Russell wants to do some of the things in his area that he knows about, there's nothing that says the firefighter can't run out and
Sure.
do it.
Well, I meant the whole throughout the county.
We just want to make sure that the businesses and public understand it's optional. It's not something they're going to be forced to do. But if somebody's willing to participate with us, then we can go out and get that data and get it put in here.
And this is a 5-year program you have to sign?
Well, no, we don't have to, but I've asked them if they would consider doing a 5-year contract because that locks the price in for 5 years.
Have you asked them?
Yes, they're willing to do that and lock the price in.
So go over the price again, $66.95. What was your old one?
$7,220.40, if I remember correctly, is what we're paying for the other.
And what was your tech service or anything? Anything on that?
Well, the tech support and programmer, what I'm including in what we're paying for Firehouse. This company provides all the technical assistance.
As long as we have the software? I mean, it's
Yes.
free with it?
Yes. So, I have been in communication with the chief technical officer of the St. George's, Louisiana Fire Department. They are very knowledgeable. That gentleman come up and did training on Firehouse. Extremely knowledgeable individual. I contacted them to see what they were doing, and they're the ones that pointed us towards fireworks, and that's what they have gone to. They go live on December the 6th, and there's about 30 departments down in that region of around Baton Rouge that are all going with this system. The chief technical officers indicated to me that anytime they find any issue, something that doesn't work quite right for them, they reach out to the company, and generally within 1 hour, they have been contacted back, and in less than 24 hours, whatever their issue is has been resolved. He said in no case has it ever gone more than 24 hours before they've been contacted. He's very, very pleased with it, pleased with the product. They have their Firehouse data transferred over into the fireworks data, so he's confident that they can transfer our data and that we will not lose it. We've tried to do our due diligence, and this is the least expensive software we have been able to find. It appears to be much simpler than what we're currently using, so the transition for our firefighters I don't see to be an issue, and it gives us
So where you at, Danny?
good capabilities moving forward.
What do other counties around us use?
I have not reached out to other counties. I know most of the folks that have the Firehouse software are looking for other alternatives. According to the state fire marshal office, there's a bunch of folks in our position that are all trying to figure out what to do.
What questions you got?
I don't really have nothing covered. I don't know. I mean, we have to have something, just, like Chris said, and like you said, and, I'm in favor of the new program. I would just like to, like I said, with the fire extinguishers, I'd really like to push that matter. I think we could also save a lot of money there too, and try to add it into our inventory or whatever we have with this program. So, I'm okay with it. I'd make a motion that we allow Doug to enter, as you said, a 5-year.
We'll have to get a 5-year agreement with them. I'd like to go ahead and confirm with them now that we're going to do it because they believe they can have us online before our payment comes up with Firehouse. That way our data is transferred. We don't have to worry about it.
You got some more thoughts?
Not really.
So do we just need a motion to allow him to look into
Yeah,
it
on-
and get all, everything?
I think you probably want to authorize him to commit to it and to try to bring you a 5-year agreement to sign. That sound right?
That's my motion.
And the last 5-year agreement we signed with Firehouse, because we're in our second 5-year agreement with them, but when we've signed those agreements, it's been clear in the language that if money is available, we don't have to pay for it for 5 years if for
That
some reason.
language has to be in
Yes.
anything we do that's beyond 1 year. It has to be.
So we're getting them to commit to this price.
We just paid for it yearly.
We pay for it annually.
And if we don't budget for it in a future year,
We could cut it out at any time, is what you're saying. I'll second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye.
That's all I have unless you have something for me this morning.
Thanks.
We'll get it taken care of. Thank you.
Hey, we're gonna do an executive session. Is Harding still here?
He's standing outside. I'll get him in.
Did you have any executive session, either one of you? What do you need?
I needed 5 for personnel and 5 for legal.
Never 5, we'll give you 10. 5 and 10. Okay.
I need 15 for legal with Sean too. You want him?
For legal, okay. So we're going to the legal session with Melissa. You want legal or personnel? Legal?
We'll talk about something else real quick.
Oh, sure, sure.
The
Hang
road, down here on 350 and Kansas 31,
Okay.
I got with the state. They're gonna bring their forestry equipment in and they're gonna grind it up for us.
That's free. That's awesome.
They want us to, put the gate in.
Okay.
And then they said we'd go a year to year. They'd take care of it 1 year, we'd mow it the next, but they'll clean it up.
So do we need to get somebody on a gate?
Do we need a,
Well, I think Sean talked about that. I think him and Harry come up with a price, right? Sean or Harry? When we was all down there,
do we need a waiver to get on this property?
We'll need a waiver signed, and we've already discussed that.
I actually have the one for the state. If you give me one, I'll get them both signed at the same time. If
do you have a form for that? You do, don't you?
Yes.
but
And the total cost for the gate and repair to the fence will be $287. It'll be less than $300.
they said they'd mow it up and keep it, if we just gonna every other year deal mow, we'd mow it. 1 year.
Awesome. All right.
So why don't you have a motion to, it's because he's got kind of a written agreement there that they put together.
Make a motion. What do you want it to say?
Just a motion to enter into that understanding with the,
With the landowner at 350 and Kansas Highway 31.
Yep.
With the state.
I'll second that. Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye.
enter into an agreement with the landowner and the state that the state's going to clear out the corner, and then we're going to alternate years mowing it, and that we're going to install a gate.
This is to clear up site issues.
Rush, yeah.
Yeah, it's the site distance is completely blocked by that, by the brush there.
You need to keep that information on hand, that phone number. You did good on the state, getting those guys.
They was pretty easy to work with, really, once
Good.
I talked to them.
All right.
Are you wanting to catch all your executive sessions now, or, because I need some too. I need probably,
And I'm gonna need some too, so
or you just.
Let's just do some mind numbing for about 30 minutes and then come back and
Okay, so you have
let's
Melinda
do for 10 minutes for legal.
and
Harding, Mr. Harding for 10 minutes for personnel. And then Sean will do your 5 and 10. 5 for legal, or 5 for personnel, 10 for legal.
so that's 30 minutes.
That's enough.
so you're 20
25 minutes.
That's my motion.
legal.
I'll second it.
Moving second, all in favor? Aye.
Yeah. 20 legal, 25, 10.
Melinda,
15 legal and 20 personnel, is that right, what you got? Okay, Melinda is legal for 10 and Sean is legal for 5. There's 15 legal.
Okay.
And then,
And 20 for
20 for personnel.
okay. Yes. I don't know. Were you ready to go right back in? Or? I don't know. I need probably about 20 for personnel. But I know Sean probably has some stuff around here too.
We done settled all the problems.
Oh, well, I
You got one?
that boy that,
Well,
you know,
you need to take him back in the back.
you take it back.
Yeah. Well, everybody left us. We need what's her? Sean, come on up. All right, nothing from executive session that we need to talk about.
Sean West, Public Works Administrator. I have two burial permits. The first is Miami County Rural Water District 3 is crossing under 2400 near Hatzel. Both road foremans have checked on both of these permits. The second is a permit for Heartland at 1150th east of Leisure.
And everybody's looked at it, you said? Harry?
Yes, that's correct. Harry looked at one, Mike looked at the other.
All right, Harry's signed this one. You want to look at it? You got the BP number? Is it on there?
No, I did not.
You know
This was
better
twice
than
that. I knew better. I knew you were going to catch me at something this morning. Let me grab two numbers from Jan real quick.
Well, you got anything out here?
Number good.
No, I guess I really don't.
David, you got anything while we're waiting?
Permit number, is that what you want?
I don't think I've got anything for out here. I need to talk to you in personnel.
The first being 21,
Doesn't matter?
Does it know which one that goes on?
doesn't matter on either one.
Go ahead, right.
Okay.
2021-08,
2021-08. Does that have to have BP in front of it?
Yeah, that's what we put. I don't know.
2021-09.
Which ones did you put them on?
Okay, the 2021-08's on 35-680 Plum Creek Road. It's
That's the.
Rural Water District 3, Miami County.
And the 2021-09 is 110 North Enterprise Drive. No, that's not it.
It should be 1150th east of Leisure.
We're gonna make this difficult.
Have to have separate motions.
No, you can do them all in one.
Under East 1150 Road. Approximately 100 foot. So you made a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept these two burial permits, 2021-08, 2021-09.
Second. Been moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
The next thing, we had already discussed the 350 and 31 project. Road and Bridge, we had Jeremy check on the engine for Olathe Freightliner. They've given us a timeline of 3 weeks between parts ordering and in the shop. And carpet is going in this morning at Pleasanton AMR building. And that was everything I had for you this morning.
Did we do anything, I suppose, short week at Parker about the tile?
No,
Have bids? Or-
no, I'm going to go meet the carpet layer over here and probably get bids on that in the next day or two.
Okay.
Yeah. And I just emailed that to you guys a few minutes ago, the purchasing policy.
Thank you.
Before we go,
Hey, Sean, when you get a chance this week, look over this purchasing policy, please.
I will.
And
I'll take it
talk
out.
about it.
I'll take it out in a foreman's meeting and pass it out.
this is the old one. We're looking at if we need to revise it. That's what we're
Yeah,
looking
this
at.
is about 2 years old.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's our first one. They didn't have one for years, so,
What is right now over $5,000, right?
yeah. Well, there's more, yeah.
Yeah, it's
there's
got
more
several
stuff.
different levels
Yeah.
and
And that's all I had, unless you have anything for me.
No.
I know we talked about, last week we talked to Bobby about maybe do something about the, going over all the septic and the tanks and stuff like that.
Is you working on that still, Bobby?
Going
On
over,
the septic, we had addressed the issue whether cities, we could hire, we were looking at hiring, well, that goes back to Jim's idea of a list of vendors that would be approved by the county to be on the vendors list. That list, I want you to think about that, keep working on that. And then also, when we talked to the mayors, we talked about some of the POA, some of those had some septic issues, and we didn't go in there because that's not our, that was,
right, we don't regulate septic
Yeah.
within cities.
yeah. But we could have we're looking at having a memorandum of agreement or understanding that we would do those inspections for them or have a company when they come out to pump the septics, if they were approved on our vendors list, that they could do it and collect the fee for us and mail it to us, like Miami County does, as an example. We're looking at if that's something we want to do.
Now, the POA is completely different than the cities, just like Tanglewood been
Yeah, Tanglewood,
Valley.
Sugar Valley, those are all in the county, so we regulate there. The only, Linn Valley is like Pleasanton or Blue Mountain, we don't regulate.
But we could possibly put that in the POA that even though we go out to inspect, that if it's in the MOA on POAs, that we would send them a certificate of that
Yes.
we've done this, so they will know when the properties change hands or something's being installed, that they have that. They may have something in some of the lakes, but apparently some of them don't have that.
okay.
So Tanglewood is an example. Person's going there to build, I assume that they have some type of policy for it. Because we don't know when people build and they want a septic tank put in. So what's our regulation on,
In Tanglewood, you have to get a county permit
Okay.
You have
put
to get a
in.
county permit and you have to get approval from the board there.
okay.
Yes,
And then,
And they won't give a building permit for a residence without a sanitation permit there.
yeah, so and they may have all that in place. We just want to make sure it's all in one agreement and everybody's happy with it. And then that way it protects the public's best interest.
And then the contractor list too, like we talked about as far as the
Yeah.
carpenters, so we can send an email to,
Till we have a contractors list to send bids to.
and then let them update it yearly for us or something, as far as
Yeah.
who wants on it.
I
But
will,
the septic one, we need to make sure that a little bit more detail is, we don't want somebody from maybe a different county come in that we don't know anything about them. Somebody local.
If they're going to be, if they're going to be approved to inspect septic
Right.
for us, they'll have to take an exam probably, I would
Yeah.
say. We would,
Septic, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've talked to a few local guys and, I would really like to try to bring a few guys in, if you guys know any. I know I've talked to Clint, about coming in here and just kind of visiting us with, the pros and cons of each type of tank. They're the ones doing it every single day. I'd like to hear what they have to say.
The poly tank versus the concrete, because I've been out and had them going through inspections as real estate and, the wall falls in or there's a big crack or whatever. So, I know Danny's thing is poly, why shouldn't poly be allowed? So we want to talk to Bobby again. We want to have all that information together to put into a policy and an MOA.
I will get with him and Jessica, and then we'll get the information from Miami County, and we'll try to have something for you next week.
I I know it's a lot. It didn't have to be next week, but sooner the better. Maybe before the first of the year, getting it all done and getting it done right and getting everybody to agree to it. That would be great.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does she have anything? Did Jessica, do you know?
She didn't say she had
Hey, would you ask her?
She did make these copies. This is,
Oh, she made the copies. Okay.
this is the purchasing policy that is now in place. So if you want to study that over and sometime between now and Christmas or 4th of July or something.
I see, as far as the Christmas dinner, we decided December 8th.
It's December 8th, and looks like we're probably gonna end up, Morgan and I or somebody cooking it, because we have not been able to find a good enough deal for caterer. So she's working all the details out today
Where's it going to be?
at the Christian church, and we've got that reserved already. But, yeah, we didn't have much luck finding any catering that wasn't.
Yeah. Okay. You got something?
I don't have a lot today. I just want to let you guys know we are, the Economic Development Committee partners with Network Kansas to offer services through Network Kansas. They offer a community revolving loan fund for businesses, and they offer several programs that businesses can go through to help educate themselves on things. We've sent people to Destination Boot Camp in Colorado before. And that's kind of a 3 or 4 day marketing, really intense, learn how to market your business kind of program. We are partnering with them again. This one is called the Ice House Entrepreneurship Program. This helps lay the foundation for entrepreneurs to really establish good business processes. It helps identify and evaluate opportunities, transform ideas into successful ventures, set goals and chart paths to accomplish them, and solve problems from a new perspective. We're partnering with the surrounding communities. Anderson, Franklin, Linn, Miami, and Wyandotte counties are all going together for this program. It's going to be hosted in Miami County at the Extension Office. Janet McRae is bringing in someone from Johnson County Community College to teach the program. Registration is $279 for the businesses to attend, and then once they complete all of the sessions, they'll be eligible for a rebate from Network Kansas, so they'll get some of their registration back. And it's going to be Thursday nights from January 27th to March 17th. So we're getting ready to push that pretty hard. We're going to put it on Facebook and in the newspapers. We're going to try to get some of our businesses to attend those meetings. That's about all I have this week. I reached out to Taylor about how to start the RFP process for ARPA funds for internet. We're working on that. We don't have an answer yet, but we're working on that.
Okay.
Were you here last week when we talked about including the lakes in that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is that something that you think that's going to be, I mean.
I think we can. Yeah. I think we can include them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You guys have anything for me?
I don't.
I don't have anything.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
Did you have executive session time you needed or not? No?
Fine.
So was there some more on the
I need 5 minutes legal.
topic of legal that we still
No.
need to talk about, or? Danny?
I need 5 more legal. I got to run my truck and grab something.
And I'm thinking probably about 20 for personnel for what I
And the
got.
last thing I was talking about,
You don't need anything on that
well,
one?
we talked about it, I mean, yep.
So instead of going 5, we'll just go 10 for legal for the commissioners. And then what do you need?
I think 20,
20 for personnel.
depends on how agreeable you are. Maybe 40.
You know how we are.
Be here in the morning.
All right, so I'll make a motion to go into executive session. I don't think there's anything afterwards that'll come from it. Make a motion, we go into executive session for 10 minutes for legal, 20 minutes for personnel. That's my motion.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye.
I gotta run my track, grab a piece of paper real quick.
So there was some action from that, and as soon as Danny gets back, we'll put that in motion and get it.
Are you, despite the fact that you told the newspaper there wasn't gonna be any, is that gonna be a problem?
No, you're.
I can email her what we did.
The salary issue.
Yeah.
Does that mean all the house and sprayed, disinfected?
Yeah,
Is he married again?
I believe so. All right, so the purpose of my part of what we went in there for was to look over the salary schedules and individual increases for next year. So the salary schedule I prepared included the 3% cost of living that you had approved at budget time. And then we discussed in there that the three of you were not going to take the cost of living. It would be on there for everybody else. And then we reviewed pay adjustments that were requested by department heads. So I think all I would need at this point is a motion to approve the salary schedule and pay adjustments as presented by the clerk.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I believe that's all I have today. Like I said, Morgan was working on stuff for the dinner next week. She was
Hey, bring your money next week. Money bags.
How much is it?
$200.
probably. She was still talking to one caterer this morning that sounded like a better deal than most of them we'd found. But if we did go with that one, it was still going to be well over that amount that you guys were going to kick in. And I told her if it was close, it'd probably be easier to go ahead and go with somebody catering. But if there was a big difference, maybe we could do it. And it looked like there was going to be a big difference. So,
Okay.
I mean, like a $500 or $600 difference probably.
You need cash or is it?
No, we'll run it through the system and then we can pay it back in. But she was trying to wrap all that up today while I was over here and figure out for sure what all we'd need and how to work it out. But we'll get there.
You got anything, Danny?
No.
No.
That's it?
Good.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Was he contacting me this Wednesday? Where to go?